Hello world, I'm Dr. K and this is Advanced Health and Training. I get a lot of patients asking me what they can do for better health. They want pills, drugs, exercise. They always want to pay for something or buy, try to find the easy way out. Uh, Usually, well, there is an easy way out, but when I tell them the answer, which is not only the best way but the most simple way, everybody seems kind of disappointed. They want something fancy, something exotic, something, they can just sit, take a pill, they get better, they don't have to do anything. They want some kind of magic. I got people come every day, I say, hey, we don't do magic, this takes a little time. We can help you, but you got to make some changes. How did this happen to you? Why is it happening to you? So basically, you got to go back to the basics. That's what it's all about. Everyone trying to do some crazy new thing, try to make everything more exciting, but it's just the basics, which is nutrition. They used to say a long time ago, you are what you eat. And that's pretty much true. You can't build your body and make it healthy if you don't have a strong foundation. It's like when they build buildings or skyscrapers. How do you make it so tall without having a good structure, good foundation? And basically, that's what the diet's all about. You got to get your basic macronutrients. So usually they say, can I go to the gym? I said, why do you want to go to the gym? He said, I want to, my belly, get my stomach stronger. I said, you can go to the gym all day. You'll probably burn, especially a beginner, maybe you burn 200, 300 calories. I said, you know how much a sugar tea that you drink, how many calories that is? It could be close to 1,000 calories. So you're never going to burn off that fat. Basically, what you have to, I make it simple. You say you need higher protein and lower carbohydrates. Very simple. You say, well, what about cookies? Yeah, it's carbohydrates, no good. What about the rice? Yeah, that's carbohydrates. Seems I have to explain what a protein is, what a carbohydrate is, which I'll make some videos about that. But when I tell them, increase the protein, lower the carbohydrates, they always say, I have a good diet. I get enough protein. I don't have to worry about that. It's not the diet. It's okay, here's what you do. Write down what you eat. Let me know the time you eat it, how much you're eating, and what you're eating. And then, I'll just tell you, I eat for breakfast, I didn't have breakfast. For lunch, I had a bowl of noodles. And then dinner, I had more rice with a little dried shrimp in it. So that's not enough protein. That's why when they tell me they have a good diet, I never believe them. I always have to ask, what do you eat? And basically all my patients, that's why they come to see me, I guess, because they're not doing very well. It's the same answer. They're not getting enough protein. Even if you want to argue protein and carbohydrates, they're still not getting enough protein. If you want to argue vegan or carnivore diet, which is the best diet, either way, they're not getting enough protein. You need protein to grow. You can get protein from plants. I don't want to talk about that now, but you still need to get the protein. So they don't seem to understand what a good diet is, and even the basics of what protein is, or carbohydrates, or fats, the basic macronutrients which you need to live. People think, I don't want to get fat. I don't want to eat fat because I'll get fat. It's not the same thing. Eating fat is not stored as fat. Eating fat is actually good because it's the best fuel source for the body. The body will burn the fat and use it for energy. The carbohydrates is a problem, which we'll do a video about that. Basically, it's called spillover, where the body loves carbohydrates. It's like a drug, the sugars. The thing is, if you eat some carbohydrates, it's good. Your body can burn them, maybe store it, maybe not, but it's not a problem. The problem is when you get too many carbohydrates. That's why we have body fat. How do you think we get the body fat? It's because it's too many carbohydrates. The body wants to store those carbohydrates as fat. When there's a problem when we don't eat food, or maybe we don't have food, or there's some type of emergency in the body where we're not eating, we can use the body fat for the energy. So Advanced Health and Training, I teach my patients even the athletes, these basics, even sometimes top athletes, they don't understand this too well. They just think maybe just protein. Well, you need more than protein, you need fats also. And actually, when you get into athletics, athletes tend to need to get more carbohydrates. So everyone's a little different, but just a general person, especially an overweight person, it's too many carbs and not enough protein. So what I tell them, if you don't know, you can't grow. You want to get bigger or leaner, you just have to know those simple basics, and it's not too difficult to fix or to manage. So the good thing is that when I work with athletes, they understand it. It's much quicker. It's easy to adjust their diet. Basic athletes, it's just tweaking the diet a little bit. They know what protein is. They know how to get the protein. They know what carbohydrates are. But usually it just takes a little bit to make the difference in the performance, or if they're on stage, if they're a bodybuilder. Just need to do very little bit just to get the veins to pop, or just lower the body fat just a little bit more so you're nice and cut. So if you have, basically what I have, a lot of my patients are like a 50-year-old housewife that was never an athlete. They're the hard ones to convince. Usually they're told, don't eat beef, beef is bad for you. Don't eat this, or you should eat a lot of fruits. But I tell them, you have to think to yourself, that's what you've been doing, that's what you've been following. You're not healthy and you're fat. Maybe it's time you have to change things a little bit. So it's difficult to have these people understand, especially you do things 40, 50 years, and a doctor is telling you don't eat the beef, or cholesterol is bad. Beef, I don't want to push beef. I mean, there's other proteins, of course, but beef is one of the most nutritious and dense foods there is. You can basically get everything, almost everything, from just eating beef. That's why some people are doing the carnivore diet, which I think maybe is a little bit too extreme in the other direction, but I haven't done the carnivore diet. I'm pretty close to it, but that's one diet I haven't tried. Maybe I have to do it just to see, but also with the beef, a lot of people think, like I mentioned earlier, that it's going to affect their cholesterol. I said, that's good. We need cholesterol. Our body's made of cholesterol. Cholesterol makes hormones. Cholesterol is for our immune system. The brain needs cholesterol so it can function. But when you go through your whole life and they're telling you cholesterol is bad, and all, you see the commercials on television telling you, use this drug, help lower your cholesterol. Cholesterol is bad for you. It's difficult to convince someone, but that's why I tell them, well, look what's happening now to you. You're not healthy. You're fat. You have heart problems. You have diabetes. Maybe it's not true. Maybe you should try something different. You already have these problems. You have nothing to lose. It's not going to get getting worse, or even cholesterol was bad, or eating the beef was bad. It's not going to affect you much more now because you already have these problems. It can only get better. So we need cholesterol. I don't want to talk about so much cholesterol because I want to talk about more about protein, but even very quickly, even if we don't eat cholesterol, the body still makes cholesterol because we need cholesterol. So if you don't understand that the cells in our body are made up mostly of cholesterol, and our hormones, like I mentioned earlier, are made of cholesterol. Vitamin D is actually a cholesterol hormone. So we need cholesterol. But what the doctors tell them is it's not good. Doctors sell drugs. Doctors try to make money. So that's a good question. I don't know if you ever met someone or have been someone who's taken cholesterol drugs and never got off of cholesterol drugs. It never happens. Usually, once you get on them, you're on them for life. You don't realize it's so simple that just changing your diet will change your whole cholesterol. Everything in your body will change just from the diet. The problem is the carbohydrates. So, if you go to basically the information, the good advice I give you, go to a doctor and they tell you that cholesterol is bad, then you really need to get out of there and find another doctor who knows what cholesterol is and why we have it and how it works. not someone who just wants to sell you drugs and have you come in every 3 months or 6 months, take blood work, give you more drugs, make more money from you. You really just change your diet. You don't have to see the doctor again. So if you go to these types of doctors, it just gets worse. You just quickly going to just go downhill and you'll die much earlier. It's basically, you can do some research online and see that's what happens when people get on cholesterol lowering drugs. They get heart problems and they die much earlier than people who don't go on cholesterol drugs. So basically, you want to stay away from the drugs. It always gets worse. When you lower your cholesterol and the body needs cholesterol, what do you think is going to happen? It's only going to get worse. So back to the protein. The best way to get more protein is eat it. Like I mentioned earlier, beef. But there's fish, there's chicken, there's pork. Basically, any animal product is the best type of protein because our body can digest the animal products easier. You get some protein from plant products, but our body can't digest it as much. So you actually need to eat twice as much protein to get half as much. So that's where the protein is, and it also comes from you need vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. That's what you get from beef. A lot of these things, when you take powdered protein, you're not going to get all these things. So I take powdered protein because sometimes I don't have time or I need to get more protein in my diet. So I'm saying powdered protein is bad, but if you can eat beef, I eat a lot of steak. The more beef you can get, or fresh fish, or fresh pork, or fresh sheep, beef, whatever you can get that's animal product, it's better than eating powdered protein, but it's better to get powdered protein than no protein at all. And I get to be, I work quite a bit. I'm a little bit too lazy to cook, and once you cook, you gotta clean. Actually, I want to put on more muscle, so I need more protein. So the powdered protein is a good way for me, but I still try to get fresh eggs in my beef and chicken as much as I can every day, at least 1 or 2 meals. So the problem with the powdered protein also is sometimes I tell my athletes or my patients to get powdered protein, they don't know the difference in protein. Protein is protein powder to them, so they'll buy usually the cheapest one. And the problem with the cheapest one is usually the lowest quality. You don't digest as much, so it's actually, in the long run, it's probably better to buy the more expensive protein because you're going to digest more of it. So it almost comes out to the same price. You're getting more protein, you pay a little bit more, but less protein, you pay less, but you're not getting as much protein, so you're going to have to buy more, take more of the lesser quality protein, get the same amount as the better protein. So basically what you got to do is educate yourself about what the protein is, which protein is the best, and that's what you need to buy, the best you can get. All right, so what we do, if you want to grow muscle, people use protein. They use resistant exercise, and that improves the muscle protein synthesis, which and that promotes the growth of lean muscle mass. So we can get protein to work for us better. So we need to get more protein to be healthy, but like I was saying earlier, which type of protein is the best to take? So basically we get a powdered protein from milk. Milk has basically 2 types of protein, casein and whey. We usually don't want to use the casein. It's not as digestible, causes more gas, but we usually use whey protein, which is considered a complete protein because it contains all 9 essential amino acids. Essential amino acids means we need those amino acids. Whey is obviously low in lactose content, which causes the diarrhea, the gas, etc. This is why whey is better than casein. And the whey is also a faster digesting with a higher percent of digestibility. So that's what we want to go for, the whey. Some benefits of whey protein is weight loss. There's a lot of studies that show those who were given whey lost significantly more body fat. We don't really want to go for weight loss, we want to go for body fat loss. And When they took the whey protein, they lost the body fat, but they preserved the lean muscle because the muscle needs the protein to grow. So when they drank, in the studies, when they drank the whey powdered protein, you lose body fat, you gain lean muscle. Also, whey protein has anti-cancer properties. There's a lot of research that shows that it's good for anti-cancer. It's also good for lowering cholesterol. There's different studies, especially in the British Journal of Nutrition, that showed they gave whey protein to 70 overweight people, men and women, for 12 weeks. And there was a significant decrease in total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol at week 12 in the whey group compared to the casein group. So that's another reason why whey is better than the casein. Also, there's been studies that showed in the International Journal of Food Science that children that were given the whey protein did better with asthma. They were given only 10 grams, which is quite low, of whey protein twice a day for 1 month, and they improved their immune response. Also, blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. There's a research in the International Dairy Journal. Dairy Journal, so they're going to be a little tricky about the whey protein. But anyway, the protein significantly reduced blood pressure in patients with hypertension, and their risk of developing heart disease or stroke was also lowered. So whey protein is good for that. Reducing weight loss, we already with people with HIV. So usually people with HIV, they lose a lot of body weight. So there's a study published in the Journal of Clinical and Investigative Medicine that showed they can preserve their body weight, people with HIV. And people who are allergic to milk, they may be allergic to whey. I think, in moderation, whey protein doesn't usually cause any problems. And now they have a new filtration system of isolate, where most of the lactose and the allergies that are caused by milk products are taken out almost 100% now with the new, more expensive whey protein. That's another reason why it's good to pay a little bit more money to get the whey isolate. But in the lesser quality proteins, high doses could cause stomach pains, cramps, reduce appetite, nausea, headache, fatigue, and so that's why you want to get the better quality whey isolate. And there's three types of whey protein. One is the whey protein concentrate, which contains levels of fat and carbohydrates. We don't really want the carbohydrates. And these are usually the cheaper product, and it's usually only contains about 30% protein. Number two is the whey isolate protein. As I said earlier, they're more processed. They remove all the fat and the lactose, which causes a lot of the problems with protein. Isolate is usually at least 90% protein. So there's a difference. You pay a little bit of money for only 30%. You pay more money for 90%. It's 3 times as much. So you might as well just pay the money, which may seem like a lot, but you actually get what you pay for. And then they have the third type of whey protein is the whey protein hydrolysate, which is they consider to be called a pre-digested form of whey protein. It has already gone partial hydrolysis, which is a process necessary for the body to absorb protein, which doesn't require as much digestion as the other two. So actually better if you have a problem with your stomach or your digestion. That'd be a little bit better for you, easier to digest. And basically the hydrolysate is used in medical protein supplements, which they give to infant formulas because it's low allergies and improved digestibility. So there's one more study that was in the International Journal of Sport Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism. They took 2 groups of matched resistant trained males, so they're both about the same strength. They had to do the same exercise. They gave them whey isolate, and it provided significantly greater gains in strength, lean body mass, and decrease in fat mass compared with a supplementation with casein during an intense 10-week resistance training program. So there's also another difference between casein and whey. You got to get the whey isolate. It costs a little bit more, but it's better for you. So, if I said there's a big difference in powdered proteins, don't go for the cheap one. Only buy a whey protein hydrolase. You get the most benefits with the least side effects like gas, but you absorb the most protein, which is what it's all about. Actually, if you just want to save even more money, you can just eat eggs. That's probably the best protein you're going to get. But even with me, I don't like cooking eggs. I eat, probably get about 4 eggs a day. I'd actually like to eat more, but it takes the time to cook them, and then you got to clean the pan, and it's just a whole hassle for me. But I do eat it. So basically the point is you're going to save money when you buy the quality whey protein, because you're going to have to use more of the cheaper protein to get the same amount of digestible grams of protein. So in the next video, I'll show you basically what to look for when buying whey. I'll show you some of the labels and how I search for a good protein hydrolysate, because they're not all the same either. Thanks for watching. Got any questions or comments, leave them below. And I'll have another video soon. Thanks for watching.